Presented by PrizePicks. $100 match on your first deposit with the promo code. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou, it is Friday. It is a Olympic Friday. You catch the opening ceremonies this morning?
Beautiful. Kidding. Paris is pouring rain. What's going on over there, man? That's all I could think about. I was like, what is... I actually have a couple buddies there right now in Europe. Is it pouring rain? What's that? Come on. It's the Olympics.
It's funny because I have family who lives in Paris, and it is usually disgustingly hot this time of year. It's definitely not rainy season over there. So just the odds that it would rain, looks everyone got drenched, just happens. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, but I don't anticipate it being a rainy 2 weeks for the Olympics. You see the Team USA outfits, the Ralph Lauren polo ones?
So who decided that was who, like, what is this? What is this? Who decided this was okay?
You know what's hilarious?
They're wearing jeans.
Devin Booker was probably the perfect one. Shirt untucked, tie, but he doesn't have the top done, so it's like a lazy half tie. Shirt untucked into kind of baggy jeans and a backwards hat. He looks like what I would have thought dressing up but trying to be cool looks like when I was 18 years old. This is like a 18-year-old Sam outfit right here. This is mid OOs. I think I'm so cool for, adhering to the dress code with a tie, but sneakily I'm not. I'm just dressed like a slob.
Well, the actual irony is this is a Bay Area fit, right? This is just a lazy, like what you just described. It's a lazy. The jeans are halfway down. We've got the shirt. The tie is kind of like not even done correctly. Like you don't see this in the East Coast. This is a Bay Area. I am lazy.
No,
I'm
East
gonna
Coast
wear
LeBron.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. Look at LeBron next to him. Perfect tie, the vest over, right? Nice jacket. Very like is like that thing. Is Devin Booker's shirt even? Was that thing even iron? You know what I mean? Like, was it? That thing still got wrinkles in it. I have no idea.
Straight out of the dryer.
Area versus New York. Yeah, exactly.
Straight out of the dryer.
Like how I look.
I don't know, man. And
clothes.
Not that. Come on, man. The jeans, like, really, you couldn't just get these guys in like good-looking suits. Gotta go for this. Like, I guess
insane.
I'm just blown away because this is some mid OOs stuff. This is like Sam in high school, college level stuff right here. So I don't know. It's
the jeans are the jeans supposed to be American? That must be it. Like that's supposed to be like, hey, we are the US, right? That's God.
Yeah, but
I mean, I've worn jeans in 20 years.
It's been a minute, but yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's funny. I think it's funny at best. But yeah, let's get to the pod here a little bit. So, look, dead of summer, Olympics starting. We'll be live after Team USA's game on Sunday. Getting excited about that. But you guys are all here because you're fiends for free agency and trade rumors. Let's be honest. And you know who's got your addiction covered. It's me and Andy. We got you covered. So I don't know, not too much. Like I feel like there's been a little uptick in noise this week, but it feels pretty targeted from the Utah side with Lauri Markannen. I don't know. It seems like there's a bunch. Every couple days, there's a new version of the same stuff coming out at this point.
Yep. Do you think Lauri Markkanen's sitting around and like kind of sitting there and being like, got a week? We got 2 weeks. You think he's nervous or you think he's excited? I feel like he should be nervous. It's like, I don't know where I'm going to be. Am I going to be in Utah? Am I going to be in San Antonio? I don't know. I would like to understand the vibes of that, because today we saw some videos of him working out. All Warriors fans are like, "Oh my God, he looks incredible!" It's like Kuminga doing crazy dunks in practice. Like, yeah, of course he's gonna look incredible. Of course, Lauri Markkanen's gonna look incredible. He's 7 foot guy. He's gonna look crazy. So
we have 12 days till August 6th. 12 more days. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Friend of the show, Draymond Green, did a podcast. Did you know he does podcasts?
God, dude. Is this his podcast? Did he go on someone else's podcast,
No.
or this is his podcast?
This is Jeff Teague's podcast.
Okay, all
and
right.
There was one relevant quote that I wanted to play for you here.
There we
some
go.
trades. We was just about to make some trades last week, and I told them straight up, like, yo, that trade helped me. Like, it'll help me right now in my career these last couple of years and stuff. But I've always spoke to y'all from a place of what's best for this organization. I won't stop now.
Yeah.
That's a bad trade. Like, don't do that trade. Like, I disagree with it, although it's going to help me right now.
Yeah.
And so what Clay just did, and nobody will give him credit for,
Oh, Draymond, what a hero, saving Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy from themselves, saying, no, do not trade the kids. It's a bad deal because in 2031, you'll be mad.
What do you think?
Complete bullshit.
You think so? You think he's lying?
I think he's spent more time podcasting than working out this summer, and he's just in that sweet spot of just talking, and it doesn't even matter if any of it makes any sense.
Hey, that's good. I like that. I like that. He's done so much bullshitting this summer that it just doesn't matter. He's in the groove, right? He's locked in. It's like when Steph is shooting threes and he's just 7 for 8 and he's completely locked in, and just anything that goes up is going in. Draymond's at that point in his podcasting vibe right now, where just anything he's saying is heat. He knows. He's like, "Ooh, I got a sound bite" as he's talking, and then he goes on and he's like, "Oh wait, I can go sell the kids. I can go make some leverage right now. I can make it seem like I care about not trading those guys." You think it's all BS? I kind of see the vision there. It's pretty good.
I think it is. And here's what I think is going on. I think Draymond thinks he's playing chess, not checkers, being like, I got your job for you, Mike. I'm going to go out there and leverage Danny Ainge by saying, hey, we're not going to do this deal. We like the kids we have. And ultimately, bro, you're on a podcast with Jeff Teague, and all we really want to hear is funny stories about shit you guys talk on the court. I'm not interested in this, Draymond.
Here's what I think. I think you're right. I think he is definitely making something up, and he's trying to pump the value of the guys that he's of Kuminga and Moody, and of course Pods especially. Although I don't think you need to pump Pods value up anymore. I think it's pretty high around the league.
It's his league.
I think it's not unrealistic to say Draymond actually really, really, really likes Kuminga. And so I don't know what this trade is about, but I'm going to use it and say it's about Paul George. Let's say, for example, it's about Paul George. And the Paul George trade, what we know is that the Warriors would have done filler, maybe Moses Moody and a pick or whatever, right? And Paul George's first option was to go to the Warriors. And what Draymond is saying is, we could have got this guy that could help us right now. And that right now is Paul George. He could help them right now. But I think when the Clippers asked for Kuminga, I think that's when the Warriors were like, we're not doing that. And I think this is what Draymond is referencing. And I think that I discount how much Draymond and Steph too likes Kuminga. And I think the reason is they know that they can't get any other type of rim pressure or penetration outside of Kuminga. And if they trade him, yes, they get Paul George, but Paul George doesn't go to the rim. So now all of a sudden you lose the guy that can actually, the only guy on your team that can actually dunk the basketball in a half court setting. And that hurts them. So I think they're willing to live with some of the other mistakes that he makes defensively, can't shoot the ball, stuff like that. I think they're okay with that because they're like, well, we still need a guy that can. So I think I have discounted, Sam, how much Draymond and Steph are in on Kuminga. So I think there's some truth. What I'm trying to say is there's some truth to Draymond. I think not. I feel like Draymond's probably on that same boat with Lauri a little bit, where it's like, hey, like let's kind of try not to put him in the trade. I mean, end of day, I think they do it, right? Because Lauri's better than Paul George, especially now and long term. But I guess I've discounted a little bit of how much they do like him and think he's important to this team. Maybe more so than the front office.
I also think it's realistic for players to be like, okay, if we trade everything for this guy, then it's just me, him, and Steph, and nothing else. And, you know, I kind of still think he's just bullshitting. I really do. But I do think there's an element of we need a full team. Yes, we need to get a second option. Yes, we need like another impact guy to get it done. But it can't just be like me, Steph, and an impact guy. Like we do need an 8-man rotation, a 9-man rotation. There is some aspect of that. So while it reminds me of so many of Draymond's like, I need to be better. I'm going to do like where he just kind of just talks and talks just to make himself look good. I don't know if I buy it, to be honest with you. So, but yeah,
you think it's all let's gas him up. We know this podcast is coming out in between Lauri negotiations. We want to make it seem like we're not moving away from these guys. I could see it. Sometimes I think Draymond's a smart guy, but sometimes I feel like, we give him a little too much credit on some of the stuff. He, like you said, he just be saying shit sometimes. But hey, this one works out. I think this one makes it seem like, yeah, we're all in. We're all in on our guys. Don't think they're all in on their guys. Let's be clear. I don't think they are.
I think they like their guys, but I think they know that they need to get better. And, ultimately you have to pay you have to give to get. Like that's the reality of it. Everything here is a haggle. They like Pods more than they like Kuminga. In other words, they'd rather give up one than the other. But if they give up one, they don't want to give up a bunch of picks. Everything's like we're willing to give you some, but not all. And Utah, on the other hand, is sitting there going, no, we want it all. So it's just classic negotiation. We know they don't really have to come to a decision for another 10 to 12 days. So I just expect noise to get louder and louder. That's really what I think. And that kind of aligns with, I'm going to share one quote here, but it got shared across all social media from Brett Siegel at Clutch Points. In some ways, it's kind of echoes the same reports you've seen from like Mark Stein, from Shams, from Jake Fisher, all this stuff. So it all paints a picture. I try to all put it together in my head in a way thing, but Brett Siegel is reporting no team has come back with a better offer since the first week of free agency. There's also been reports that the Warriors have the best offer standing right now, some people say. So the way I'm taking this is everyone made their initial bids. Utah did not think they were good enough, but it's just a stalemate right now. No one's bidding against themselves. There's nothing's really changed. It's just a long waiting out period, which has kind of been the theme of this offseason. There was the Clay move week 1, a couple small things right then. And then, I don't know, Brandon Ingram's just on the Pelicans. Levine's just on Kuzma's still on the Wizards. Like people they're just sitting around. It feels very much like baseball, if I'm going to be honest with you.
If when was the last time a player that was traded to a team got traded to a team that we all thought was going to go to that team? Because I'm trying to take this at different angles, because it feels like all we hear about is Warriors, Lauri. If it's going to be
Spurs,
a trade, it's going to be the Warriors. But not as much as the Warriors. So, and maybe that's just because the Warriors content machine is better for clicks. So people are going to say Warriors. I could see that, which is why people use the Lakers, right? It's the content machine. When was the last name? Because you brought it up a couple shows ago. You brought up Donovan Mitchell, right? Knicks. All of a sudden, Cleveland Cavs, right? Mikal Bridges, nothing. We didn't hear much. Boom. All of a sudden, New York Knicks. Pascal Siakam. Where's he going? All of a sudden, Indiana Pacers, weird. OG Anunoby, maybe not as big of a name. We didn't hear too much. Gets traded to the Knicks kind of out of nowhere. So kind of going back and I'm trying to go back and think of Rudy Gobert is another one. The only one I can think of, what I'm going to get to, is Anthony Davis, right? That's probably the one where it's like, Anthony Davis is going to the Lakers. And this was like 5 years ago, dude. Anthony Davis is going to the Lakers. And that actually happens, right? Because Anthony Davis wanted to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, I will say Siakam, the Pacers noise was loud for a year.
Okay.
There was the Pacers want him, and they were just like, they didn't want to pay Masai's price until the price finally got low enough, and they got him for 3 picks instead of whatever the hell Masai wanted two years prior. So yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point there, but it does seem to me like there's a huge stalemate because if someone else gave an offer that Ainge liked, he would have traded Lauri already. Seems to me like the Warriors still have the best offer and it's not good enough, and he's trying to drum up a market which may or may not be there. That's kind of what it seems like to me. And maybe it gets there in a maybe it gets there in a week. Maybe it does. Maybe because of the August 6th deadline and everyone knowing the deadline exists, everything gets hot like August 3rd. You know, like look, baseball. There was just a bunch of MLB trades the last 24 hours, right? But we see this in every sport. You need a deadline to get people to be serious. People aren't going to give you their best and final until you get to the deadline, right? They're just going to kind of be like, well, I'll give you this. I'll give you this, you know, even the 49ers with Ayuk, they're just chugging along, not giving him a contract because they're like, well, we don't have to. But it's like, I mean, you could say it's annoying or it's not. Deadlines force action. So I feel like we're going to wait it out just a little.
Wait, can we do that? Can we do a couple minutes on that? Actually, it's not even Ayuk. That's the problem. It's actually Trent Williams, your boy. That's actually the one where it's like they actually have no leverage on Trent. And that's the one that's a little concerning. It's kind of like same as the Bosa situation. Although you could argue Ayuk, they need Ayuk. Like they need Ayuk. They do. They need all of those guys. But
Ayuk just has less contract leverage in terms of where he is on his rookie deal. But yeah, I hear you.
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna screw him a little bit, but like with like Bosa, they cannot have Bosa, right? Trent Williams, they cannot have Trent Williams, man. They don't got Trent Williams. Brock might die. He might die out there in a couple months. So it is deadline, and so I'm not trying to make a comparison, but it just specifically for the Niners, the problem is like you could wait for the deadline, but it's like Nick Bosa wasn't Nick Bosa last year because you waited until the day of the freaking season to sign him, and look at you now. Different for Lauri and stuff. It doesn't matter. August 6th is not close to the season, but
right. Yeah, so. No, I mean it's true. So it's like the way I'm reading all this is it's interesting. I'm thinking about it. Utah's definitely trying to get in the Warriors' head right now, but ultimately, I just don't think anything's changed since last week.
No,
I think it's. I think this is all. You know, someone is writing an article in a slightly different fashion. You know, Warriors don't want to give up Pods. They don't want to give up Kuminga. Okay, maybe we'll give up one of them, but we're not going to give you as many picks. Like this is all the same negotiation stuff. The only thing that will get interesting here is if someone else comes to the table with a better offer, and then you and I will kind of panic a little bit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen to date. That doesn't happen to date.
I think someone wrote something about like the Thunder, but it's like it's not reported. So
yeah,
like, how real is that?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I hear you.
Hey, let's talk some stuff. But before we do that, let's talk some Lake Up today, our guy. But before we do that, the Light Years podcast, we are brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with the finals over. The hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is still heating up. With stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, you could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I made my first deposit and received an instant bonus. If you have the skills, you can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LightYears for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LightYears on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy.
Yeah, man. I want to ask you this. Like, if they don't end up getting Lauri Markannen, then what?
Then what is right? I hope they have backup plans because there ain't no other Lauri Markannen on the market.
I mean, I guess my question for you is, do you think they would pivot to an Ingram or a Kuzma who are apparently available for trades? Ingram is very available. Kuzma less it's speculated that they're interested in trading him for assets. Do you think they do that, or do you think they just go into the season in a holding pattern, holding on to all their assets because they want a better player and they're willing to risk it into the season to see if, I don't know, Jimmy Butler, who is a superior player to both those guys, even if his fit isn't perfect, see if he becomes available, that sort of thing. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I think they do it if it was for a player whose contract doesn't mess up their future books. So Ingram is not happening. Zach LaVine is not happening. Any player that's going to have a massive contract for the next few years is not going to be on the Warriors. You bring up a name, Kyle Kuzma,
unless they're a true superstar,
unless they're good, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, obvious Lowry, right? But Kyle Kuzma, yeah, that's the one, right? You brought it up. I mean, what's his contract look like, right? It's not going to be Brandon Ingram.
No, he's got actually. This is interesting. Kuzma the next 3 years makes $60 million, so about 20 a year. 60 million, actually.
Wow.
20. Wiggins the next 3 years makes 84, which is 28 million a year average. It's 26, 28, 30. So he makes less than Wiggins, and one has to presume that 20 a year number is probably less than Kuminga's extension number, which is a sneaky deadline they also have beyond them, because everyone's an attractive young prospect until they get paid, and then they better be fucking good or not, So
Evan Mobley, you better be. Yeah,
dude, that's just I have a sneaky suspicion, by the way, Houston does not want to pay Jalen Green for the exact same reason. He probably expects a max contract, and they're sitting here going, 55 million, 50 million a year for you, buddy, like that type of thing. But yeah, to your point, like Evan Mobley's good. Franz Wagner is good. It's a leap of faith that they're going to go from being nice young players to every year I'm an all-star player, but they have to pay him like that. So
people get mad. They're like, oh, this is just the market rate. And I'm like, I get that's the fucking market rate, but you're going to have to pay it. Then you're going to have to build your team around it. And I don't believe, I really like Wagner. I actually really like Scotty Barnes too. Like, those are players that I enjoy watching because they play basketball smart. But like, I don't pay those guys that much money to be the star player, like you said, to be all-star caliber players. I think maybe Jaylen Brown's the one where it's like, oh, it did work out though. Like, they paid him a ton of money, and then he's really freaking good. He's Finals MVP, right? I don't know if he's better than Tatum, but you could say he's just as good. And that worked out for them. But that's kind of an exception.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying those guys that kind of money. You're expecting them to be, I don't want to say a top 10 player, but you're expecting them to be like a top 20 player. Yeah. You're expecting them to be, what's Jaylen Brown? Probably somewhere between 11 and 20. He's not top 10, but he's a clear every year. I'm healthy. I'm an all-star, right? Like, he's a clear all-star wing. You're paying those guys that kind of money with the expectation they're going to get to the Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, different styles of player, but like that level of every night impact. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a lot of money. And you know what? Maybe they will. Maybe Franz Wagner will. Maybe Scotty Barnes will. Actually, honestly, I wouldn't bet against it in some capacities. But if they don't, that's a lot of money, and your cap is just stuck for a long time. Like, you better be right on that sort of stuff. It's not like, I think this is where the second apron is really problematic. In the past, you could pay guys, and if it didn't work out, you could move them. Now, if you pay them and it doesn't work out, you're kind of stuck like the Pelicans are stuck with Ingram or the Bulls are stuck with LaVine. So if you pay a Jalen Green or one of these guys and it just never happens, they never turn to being that guy, you just you have nowhere to go. Like, you have no moves to make. You just have to sit on it for an extended period of time.
Maybe what we see, and we got to go back to the Kuzma discussion here in terms of backup plans, but like, maybe what we see moving forward is more restricted free agency, more players getting to restricted free agency. Let me ask you this. What's the percentage chance Kuminga gets to restricted free agency?
50-50.
Wow.
I think there's a 50% chance they extend him early this offseason. I think there's also a 50% chance they don't. So it's one of those things where it completely depends on a myriad of other factors. Like if they are able to get Lauri Markanen and keep Kuminga, I would actually say extend him early when you can get a discount because his stats are probably going to pop next to Lauri and Steph.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you might be able to get him for less than you would next summer. If not, I don't think they can extend him early because if they extend him early, he's no longer a tradable contract. Remember, they extended Poole early and then the punch happened. And then we knew all year it wasn't going to work, but they could not trade Jordan Poole because he was a poison pill. That's kind of, you extend someone early, you're extending them because you expect to keep them for a long time. So I say 50-50 that he gets all the way to restricted free agency. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I think it's actually much higher that he goes to restricted free agency. Do you think they're extending him early?
I genuinely asked you because I didn't know. But now that you talked me through it, I think they should let it go to restricted free agency and just pay him whatever when that happens. I just
prove it. Do it again. We'll pay more if you could do it 2 years in a row.
This is not a Kuminga thing. I think this is for all players now, especially in this environment of the NBA. The Jordan Poole stuff was different. I mean, kid got knocked out. Like he had a fair amount of leverage there. I guess the Warriors didn't technically have to do it, but the vibes were going to be actually the vibes ended up terrible anyway, regardless of the money. But what I'm trying to say is, for someone like Scotty Barnes, why didn't they just go to restricted free agency? But the face of the franchise stuff, I guess. But yeah, I guess to your point, like the face of the franchise for the Warriors isn't Kuminga, right? So they don't feel the pressure to pay him right now, right? So it's a little different. It's kind of your pecking order on the team, I guess, is what affects this political type of free agency stuff. But Kyle Kuzma, if the Warriors get a chance to back to Kyle Kuzma, they got to find a way to get him. And the point I was going to make to you is this: what do they have to actually move? Do they have to move any future assets that they could use in a Lauri Markanen trade? Better question: does them getting Kyle Kuzma stop them from keeping the bullets that they would need to get a superstar player if that player comes back around the trade deadline?
I mean, I can't imagine that Kuzma costs less than 2 picks. So, yeah, it does limit them or high-level prospects. He's a good player, even if I'm not a huge fan of him because he says dumb stuff. Most notably, the Clay thing he said just always rubs me the wrong way.
What did he say? What did he
say? When Clay tore his ACL, he tweeted, "Oh, that's karma." I was just like, "Come on, man, grow up." Yeah. Like, it's just like the one thing you don't say, you know? So
he might have grown up. He might have grown up.
Just idiot. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
He was younger.
Yeah.
But, he is a good player. The last 2 years, 2-year sample, by the way, not 1 year, 2-year sample, averaged 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Not the greatest 3-point shooter, about 34% from 3, but he gets to free throw line a little bit and he finishes inside. Ironically, he has the reputation for not being the smartest guy, but I think he plays pretty smart basketball. Like, he knows how to play off ball. He's a good cutter. He can create a little bit on his own. He's certainly not a bad player. Like, he's more skilled than Kuminga or Wiggins. I'm not saying he's better than the best version of Wiggins. I'm just saying he's more offensively skilled than Wiggins is.
Yep. I agree.
I think he would help this team. He also is doing all this without the Steph bump. In general, you got to imagine play next to Steph and Draymond would be better for him. Like, I can see him making an all-star on the Warriors on that sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if they'd go that route. Honestly, I think he'd improve them. I feel like the cost of acquiring him would limit their future options, and that would be the problem. He's not going to cost as much as what Ainge wants for Lauri, but he's going to cost something. He's a young player with 3 years under contract. They definitely expect, like, maybe they want Kuminga. Okay, that's an important piece for you. And maybe they want at least 1 extra pick, if not 2 picks. Like, all right, well, let's say a star comes available in 6 months' time. What do you even have to trade?
Yep. That's okay. So Kuzma's not happening. Yeah, that's not happening. No, we know how the Warriors operate. They're not going to spend those bullets. And the Warriors aren't the Thunder. They don't just got first round picks like just random, like, You
Well,
know what
they
I mean?
didn't.
They
They
don't
didn't
have them
spend
laying
a year
around,
just
right?
acquiring them. Yeah, exactly. They
Right.
didn't like
So
trade
they
all their
can't just
stars to get 15 picks. So
Yep. So yeah, okay, I think that one's not happening because I think the Warriors would rather wait. They would rather sit and wait and say, Kyle Kuzma, we got that at home. We like immigrant parents. Why would you want to eat a burger? We can make that at home. You know what I mean? Why would you spend $16 on a bowl of pho? Like that we can make that for $2 at home. We can just buy the meat and the noodles. Noodles are 30 cents. Why do we need to trade 2 picks for Kyle Kuzma? We got Kuminga at home. And so I think you're right. I think Kyle Kuzma isn't happening. What other players are out there? I feel like they probably have some backup plans on players that they'd move that they could get without giving up much, right? Maybe they trade Wiggins, get a pick, then they use that pick, get a Bruce
you think
Brown.
they can get
maybe
pick for
something like that.
Wiggins? Who's giving you a pick for Wiggins? This is like when I take clothes to a place to sell it back, thinking I'm going to get money, and they're like $1. I'm like, what? What? Come on, these are good sneakers. They still work. They still fit, and they're like $1. That's it. That's all you get. So
this is I have an air fryer, an oven, and a toaster that I gotta get rid of. Trying to clean out the apartment. I'm gonna go try to sell them, and I'm probably better off just giving them to Goodwill or something. I should just donate them. That's the
kind of
Wiggins
the route.
contract. Yeah.
That's the route I've gone. Like I've tried selling stuff back thinking I could recoup some stuff and that's cool. And you never get anything for it and you just waste your whole day trying to do it. Might as well just donate it to someone who could use it and be a nice person, So that's kind of where I've gone to with anytime I do like a closet clean or like have stuff I want to give away, I go that route.
That's what the Warriors should do.
Yeah, just donate him to Toronto. Toronto, here he is.
Can I get 2 seconds? Can I get 2 seconds, please? 2 future seconds.
I mentioned Toronto because this was, and take it for what it is, but Brett Siegel of Clutch Points mentions in his article, one team whispered to have interest in Bruce Brown, quietly mentioned, was the Warriors. While unlikely to occur, the Warriors have the ability to move Wiggins, who essentially makes the same as him, only Bruce Brown's an expiring and Wiggins is not. We've heard Wiggins' name thrown into a ton of trades. I mean, you want to speak to that for a couple minutes?
Yeah. So this one's interesting to me because he says Bruce Brown and other assets. So that's why I brought it up. Does that mean that the Warriors would get a pick back? It wouldn't be a good pick, right? It wouldn't be anything, but it'd be something that you would throw in a package for Lauri.
We could pray. Also, we could pray as a good pick.
Yeah. 1v1, who's a better forget about the value of the contract and stuff expiring, great, good for the Warriors. Who's a better player right now? Bruce Brown or Andrew Wiggins? Who is a better player right now and for next season?
I mean, 2022 Wiggins is a better player than Bruce Brown, but Bruce Brown is a better player than 2023 Wiggins, 2024 Wiggins, 2021 Wiggins, 2019 Wiggins, 2016. Basically, it's a question of, do you want to gamble that this player who is largely inconsistent and no shows mentally and physically sometimes can lock in and hit the highest of highs, which he's shown he can do at times, just not consistently? Or do you want the guy who, because Bruce Brown plays hard every night. Bruce Brown is GP2 on steroids, right? Is that a better way? Is that a good way to put him? Better ball handler, but he's gonna guard the point of attack. He's 6'5", so he's bigger than GP2 was, and he's going to be felt every time he's on the floor, but like his high end isn't as high end as Wiggins. Like Wiggins did some things in the finals that Bruce Brown could never do, even though Bruce Brown did have a good finals that one time for the Denver Nuggets.
Bruce Brown was really good with Brooklyn and Denver, especially in Denver.
He was playing over Michael Porter Jr. on that in the finals there, because he's really good, but I think you'd still agree with me. The best version of Wiggins is better than him.
Well, yes, and what the Warriors need isn't so much the Bruce Brown type of player, right? They need the I mean, honestly, it's not really even the Wiggins, but like they need the Kuminga, how good can you be type of player,
The 6'8",
as
the
a second
6'8"
scorer, right?
Yeah.
That's actually who they need. But from the perspective of like, let's talk about like this situation. Yeah, I mean, he's Bruce Brown is, but again, like Bruce Brown last year, he didn't play many games. He got benched a little bit. So, I mean, I think there's an argument that they kind of similar players. I don't know if Bruce Brown is that much better. The difference is that, like what you said, is Bruce Brown's done after this year. The Warriors get off that contract versus Wiggins. He's got many more years. He's got 3 more years to go, right? That's a difference. But I don't know how much this helps the Warriors as a team. Maybe if they didn't get DeAnthony Melton, like this would be a great move, right?
Sure.
Maybe if GP2 wasn't still on the team, this would be a great move. But this doesn't help the roster because now all of a sudden you just got another undersized 2, undersized 3. Yeah,
he's
can't
great
really
at guarding.
score, right?
No,
It's just another one of those players. Now if you
he's gonna have to be guarding guys who are too big because he should be guarding the guy that Melton's guarding.
Yeah. But maybe I mean, Melton and Bruce Brown next to Steph, kind of like it. It's a lot of dog, but yeah, I mean they're small, but a lot of dog.
Small dog, tiny dogs.
Small, a lot of like my dog. But maybe you say if you end up not having Wiggins and you lose Moses Moody and you lose Kuminga in a trade for Lauri, then yeah, Bruce Brown is absolutely necessary, right? Like I would think so, but as a 1-to-1, like I don't know how much it matters.
If they did it, yeah, it would be about contract flexibility. It'd be about setting up the next move. And we can argue about it. And if they did it, what it would tell me is they're just done with Wiggins. They want off the rodeo of, are we going to get the good Wiggins tonight? Or are we going to get the guy who's doing cardio who doesn't, get a rebound, right? Are we going to get the guy who gets 16 rebounds in a finals game or the guy who gets 16 rebounds in a month, right? Because that's like really what it comes down to with him, right? Like if he plays as engaged as he can, he's worth his contract. He's an impact guy, but too much of his history suggests that it's more likely that was the exception than the rule.
I don't think Wiggins is going to be on the team next season. It's just a matter of like who's going to be coming back in his place. I don't think they're not going back on the rodeo, like you said. He's gone. It's just, is it going to be Bruce Brown that comes back and that's just all they have, and which is kind of boring, or is it going to be kind of like Mike Dunleavy does 3 trades and Lowry's one of them? You know what I mean? And Bruce Brown's coming back as another one of vet guys, right?
And Wiggins is on a 3rd team, but the trade doesn't happen if he's not involved, type of situation.
Right.
Yeah, because like that's the
I
other
I wouldn't be surprised if they had a trade for Wiggins like right now, just kind of verbally agreed on.
It seems to me like a big part of the Lauri Markanen thing is one of Wiggins or Kuminga has to go. And it's just math. You can't have Wiggins making 28, Lauri getting a near max, so let's call it 35 plus, and then have the money to give Kuminga another 25. Like one of those guys making 20 plus has to go because otherwise you're over the second apron. So there's everything factors into it. It's like, is he reliable? Is he improving? How does this work? So we'll see. I would not be surprised if Wiggins was back next year. I really wouldn't, mostly because I don't know if they have an option. I don't know if they do. So
number 1 fan. That's me. That's your number. Yeah.
Me, just big poutine Jeff Green fan. You nailed it.
Oh, man, I was in Toronto. I didn't even get any poutine. Actually, no, I did. I got it at the ballpark. Good stuff. It was good.
Nice.
Good poutine.
Okay. Let's get out of here. We'll be back.